When I first saw the video of the shooting of Amir Locke, I was extremely disturbed, as I know many people were as well.
After the death of Amir Locke in Minneapolis, in which police served a no-knock warrant, Brooklyn Park City Council members are now discussing how no-knock warrants are handled in their city. Brooklyn Park Police spoke to the council during the Monday night meeting, saying no-knock warrants in Brooklyn Park are not served the same way they are in Minneapolis.
The act of opening a door and going in to get people, even on no-knock warrants, doesn't exist.
Chief Craig Envelson says Brooklyn Park Police use a tactic called breach and fade, where officers breach the door and then fall back to a point to cover and then call out to the suspect. Last year, they served a total of 40 search warrants, and 19 of those were no-knock warrants. But they say none was like in the Amir Locke case. Envelson says reform measures should not focus on the no-knock warrant, but instead on what happens next.
The difference is, what does the police department do once they get that door open? People saw the video and they believe that that is how all no-knock warrants work, and therefore we need to ban all no-knock warrants. The discussion needs to be about the tactic that's employed once that door is open.
Envelson also says they use technology as much as they can, which includes using robots to help clear the house. A court-appointed panel has released new maps for Minnesota's congressional and state legislative districts. The boundary lines are redrawn every 10 years after the U.S. Census to account for shifts in the population. We are still learning more about the new maps, but here are 3 highlights that we know so far. Golden Valley is united in one House district, and that's the new 43B. Osseo will become part of Brooklyn Park and Brooklyn Center's Senate district, and Maple Grove Senate district is a larger one. Instead of extending north, it extends west all the way to Greenfield and Independence. It's a project in Brooklyn Center that has been discussed for the better part of 2 decades. The so-called Opportunity Site, which is 80 acres of land and includes the former Brooklyn Center Target store. It's back in the conversation. Now the city has approved a preliminary agreement with a development group to redevelop some of that land. The initial redevelopment focuses on 15 acres at the northeast corner of Shingle Creek Parkway and Bass Lake Road. According to a concept plan, the project would create 5 new urban blocks, which would include a mix of housing and green space, along with new roads and plazas. The project would be centered around 6 apartment complexes, the biggest of which would be market rate, with 4 smaller ones built for lower incomes. The concept also includes a new regional park operated by the Three Rivers Park District that would be in the heart of the Opportunity Site. Also included is an event center and what's called the Entrepreneurial Market Plaza, a building that will serve as a business incubator. The hope is that this initial phase will serve as a catalyst for future development phases. Before the vote, Brooklyn Center City Council member Dan Ryan expressed concern about the level of affordable housing included in the plan and how it will impact the city economically 20 years down the line. Officials say the plan is the result of years of community engagement. Minnesota is home to more than 35,000 Liberian immigrants, with many residing right here in the northwest suburbs. In this week's edition of Takeout Tuesday, Delane Cleveland takes us to a Crystal restaurant that aims to give Liberians a taste of home while introducing others to some delicious flavors.
I immerse myself in what I do. I like getting to know the customers.
Roughly 9,000 miles separate Liberia from Minnesota.
I like the food here. It's actually really, really good.
But people in the northwest suburbs don't have to travel far to get a taste of West African cuisine.
Very important to bring a taste of our ethnic culture here.
Marlene Na is the owner of African Foods and Gifts, which opened in the Crystal Shopping Center about 6 years ago.
We do the collard greens and potato grains, the cassava leaves.
Here, customers can eat favorites like pepper soup, collard greens, or fish, among other delicious offerings. The restaurant has already become a fan favorite.
I like the service, and it's a nice vibe, and I really enjoy their food. There's not too many places like this with this type of food.
What's going on for Valentine's?
The service is one of the things that sets the restaurant apart.
People like to be recognized, so we make it a point to remember their names, to remember their preferences, to know what they like, make conversations, go beyond, the cassava leaf and the potato grains, and maybe talk a little bit about family.
When African Foods and Gifts first opened, it was primarily a retail store.
We have fufu and some powdered milk, so this is palm butter.
But the deli brought in more of the business, so Marlene transitioned from being less of a store and more of a restaurant right before the start of the pandemic.
But we've had our ups, we've had our downs, but God has been good to us on the overall, because minus the Lord, who is on my side, minus him, I wouldn't be here.
The good food, combined with Marlene's dedication to customer service, has helped the restaurant thrive when many others have been forced to close over the last couple years.
People come because they feel welcome, they feel respected, they feel they're getting their money's worth.
A good value that also comes with a sense of comfort.
It makes you feel good, it fills you up.
In Crystal, Delane Cleveland, CCX News.
In Brooklyn Center, planning is underway for a first-of-its-kind concert in the city. Mayor Mike Elliott has asked the Minnesota Orchestra to participate in a community concert under the theme Rhythm of Life. Brooklyn Center artists would also be a part of the event, which will be held on May 10th at the soon-to-be renamed Earl Brown Heritage Center. The concert would be free, though a $5 donation would be requested. The Heritage Center, which is owned by the city, would forego about $16,000 if the space is offered at no cost. More sports and news to come. We'll be right back.